Hello everyone and welcome to Sega Sonic the Hedgehog on the arcades. I'm playing this through the MAME emulator because it's literally the only way I can physically play this game. I'm one Welsh sheep yet again, and this, as you can tell, is a trackball game based around the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. And it's actually the first game in the Sonic series to have an ice level, believe it or not, and it's also the introduction of Mighty the Armadillo, the character I will be playing as throughout this game, Ray the Flying Squirrel, which is a character who never reappears, and of course Sonic. Now, all this game is in Japanese, and that's because there was never an English version of this game released. However, in some arcades, namely in Europe and, some arcades in Europe and America actually had copies of this arcade machine. And basically this game is a trackball game, which means you get this little device, which is literally a little, it's like a ball, and you sort of slide your hand around on it in order to move. And you also push a button to jump. That's literally all she wrote for the game. The gameplay though is very special and it's very good. It's very good fun. Now obviously I don't have a trackball on my PC, so I'm actually using an emulator to emulate trackball movement with the analog stick, which is why some movement in this may look a little bit finicky, it won't look perfect. But yeah, I'm quite surprised this game was never released on any compilations, because it's actually a very well made game. I do really enjoy it. And you can actually play this up to 3 players, I believe, in total. In the arcade version it's 3 players, I know that for a fact, but it can be a bit dodgy on the actual emulated version of the game, which is the version I'm playing, because, well, it only supports 2 players. I think that's because the emulator I'm using, which is MAME, which is like the end-all, be-all arcade game emulator, only supports up to 2 for some reason. Which I'm not fussed by, because I don't know anyone who would actually play this with me. But yeah, I remember years ago, there's a Sega World in London, I believe it was, and they actually had an arcade machine of this set up, just way in the back. It's a pretty fun ride. I had no idea what was going on, because like I said, everything in this game is in Japanese. They never translated this, even when they released it over here. It's quite weird. But anyway, also I apologize for the flickering of whenever you go between levels, because the screen will flicker a lot. I don't know if that's the game itself or if it's the emulator, but it can be quite annoying. And for the most part, the gameplay of this involves just moving forwards, dodging all the obstacles, and not staying still. If you stay still in this game, you're going to die because, well, obviously you're getting chased by things. Anyway, this level by here is pretty cool level. I have to say one thing about this game's soundtrack, it is amazing. I mean, it's a game soundtrack I would like to go to quite often, and not too many people know about this game as a whole, or the game soundtrack. It's a pretty fun ride, what can I say? Of course, whenever you see things like catch, basically that's your indicator to say, oh, okay, let's just grab onto these pulley things and just let our ways across. And sometimes the graphics are a bit buggy at times. Again, I think that might be the emulation more than anything else, so I apologize for that, but there's no way I can capture this off an arcade machine, because I don't own an arcade machine, and I'm not prepared to pay the sheer amount of money it takes to get a real machine of this. So, this is the best I can give you, folks. Although, one thing you'll notice is quite different from the traditional Sonic games is that when you collect rings, you'll actually have a health bar at the bottom left of the screen. And when you collect more rings, your health increases. And it's a pretty neat little way to do health, I believe, because obviously in this type of game, if you scatter all the rings across, it'd be very awkward to pick them up, and because this is an arcade game that's based around spending money to survive, it's pretty good that they made the system a lot like this. That's all I can say. Of course, whenever you complete a level as well, you also have a tally up of all the total rings you've collected throughout the stage. When you get a certain amount of rings, well, basically, there's nothing more to say other than your health bar will get a bonus. You get a bonus amount of rings. And rings are pretty much nothing more than score. All you want to really focus on in this game is just avoiding getting to the end. Now this LP is actually going to be an extremely short one, folks, because it is literally 1 part long. This game is very small. And of course, if you're wondering why I'm playing as Mighty as opposed to the usual Sonic, or actually just Sonic, because I don't think I know anyone who likes to play as Ray, let's be fair. That's because Mighty is my favourite designed Sonic character. I don't know, I just like the way he's designed. I heard somewhere as well that Mighty is actually one of the original designs of Sonic, so it's quite interesting. We will be seeing Mighty again in a future LP though. This is the first arrival of a fantastic character who's only, now that I think about it, he's only been in 2 games. He's been in this game and Knuckles Chaotix on the Sega 32X, which is a pretty fine game in itself. I'm not the biggest fan of it though. The levels seemed pretty... No, I'll save my commentary for that game when I actually get to it. Let's just say that. Anyway, this zone by here, as you can see, the desert land behind you is collapsing, and this enemy Badnik that's chasing you. This Badnik, well, you can't kill him, I don't think. So just keep running, it's your best bet. And honestly, this game's more about obstacle chase, not chasing, obstacle avoiding, as opposed to anything else. So just, yeah, make away with those rings and continue on moving. Like I said, more rings you get, the more health you get, and because I'm playing this on the emulator, there's no danger of me getting a game over with the exception of one level, which I'll get into when I get there. So yeah, fantastic. Now by here, needless to say, watch out for these sand pits, because the sand pits, well, they push you. If you get pushed into the bottomless pits, well, you'll lose a bit of health. Bottomless pits aren't instant death, which I'm so thankful for. Christ, imagine how many lives I'd lose if I was instant death or falling into pits. I'd probably die all the time. But hey, it's a trackball based game. The controls aren't completely accurate, but it is really fun. I love this. And of course, the levels are really short. They usually take like between a minute to 2 minutes at the maximum to complete. So, don't have to worry too much about that. There's only 7 zones in total, and they all have their own unique tricks and traps. And I think I said earlier, but just in case I didn't, this also that was weird. This also sports the very first ice level in any Sonic game ever as well, which is quite a surprising benchmark, I guess. Now anyway, these crusher thingies by here, what you want to do is actually slow down when you get to them and so time your run perfectly so you can slide on through. That's only if you're using what I'm using to emulate trackball, which I honestly don't recommend because you'll see me struggle with the controls all the time. Because I'm using a Wii U Pro controller for this, folks. So there we go. Needless to say, whenever you get certain areas like climby areas, you'll automatically grab on and you'll be able to just land on up. And Jesus Christ, explosives everywhere. Like I said, I love the soundtrack. This game's just... It's something I want Sega to revisit and, I don't know, remake it maybe, or just release a port of it or something, like put it on a touch device like an iOS or something, because that would work. I mean, swipe the screen with your finger and get through the stage. That could work as a trackball emulation device, or just release a trackball for a console and use that. I don't know. Anyway, Landslide Limbo. This is actually one of my favorite stages in this entire game. It's very, very good because, well, I don't know, it just gives me that feel of, oh my god, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I gotta go fast! Oh no! The land's falling! I don't know why I'm doing my Sonic voice for Mighty, because... And also, I believe this is actually the first time Sonic got a voice in the entire franchise. Granted, it's in Japanese, but I'm pretty certain this is the first Sonic voice there is. Unless Sonic CD came out before this, I'm not entirely sure. I'm trying to think, did Sonic CD come out before this one? I don't think so. Anyway, you need to be very quick by here, and as you can see, those little areas by here where you can sort of, if you land on like little ramps, you sort of boost off. Be careful of those ramps because, well, they're quite finicky to deal with, and chances are you can run into a bottomless pit. And that sign there does my head in. If you run too quick into that sign, well, bye-bye health, and be careful of these fireballs. You'll see little tiny fireball pellets pop down from the top of the screen, and that's essentially a cue to, well, walk around the fireballs and do your thing, isn't it? So, there we go. And this is literally the only boss in the game, so just jump into him a number of times. You just push the jump button. There's whatever you assign the jump button to, it's your emulator if you're running this on an emulator. So yeah, jump the button, push the jump button, boop this thing until it blows up, and oh, it'll explode in a glorious, fiery, amazing thing. But hey, that was onto the water level. Yay! Water levels. Oh, but you're in for a pretty wild ride with this water level, folks, because it isn't bad. It's actually quite easy. It's quite fun as well to get through. So First things first, it's just, oh god, the bridge is falling, and, well, I'm screwed. Yeah, this is actually one of the easiest levels in the game, and it's purely because you move so slowly. It's very easy to control, unlike any other stage, which I think is intentional. Like, I'm pretty sure the controls being slippery as they are is an intentional thing by Sega, because obviously this was made to earn money. Whenever you see an arrow pointy thingy, or whenever you get crushed or get stuck on something, all you need to do is just hold down, or, well, I'm holding down the analog stick, but you need to just move the trackball in a direction and you'll break out and be able to progress on just fine. Everything is fine and dandy. Needless to say, don't touch those mines, those mines will hurt you, so ignore them while you can. And whenever you see these tools on the ground, you can touch them and they'll just start dropping rings for you to pick up and get a bigger health bar. How considerate. They really are heroes in a half shell, aren't they? But seriously though, this is such a fun game. And you can destroy these thingies with like the snake enemies coming out as well to get a bunch of extra rings. And that's all there is to it. Honestly, the only real challenge in this game is actually this one section coming up like here. So move all the way up this giant rocky climb thing. Be careful of whenever cracks appear. It's very easy to dodge the cracks because they're cracks. You see a crack, move out of the way, and water will burst out, and if you don't get hit, you move on just fine. This by here is probably the hardest section in the entire game though, because you have to dodge all these cracks, then you have to do a pretty much impossible platforming sequence. Now, I believe this isn't so bad when you're actually using the trackball, because it's a bit easier to manage your speed, but trust me, it's using analog controls, believe it or not, it's an absolute nightmare. As you see, I got my first game over. But fortunately, I have infinite continues. Yay, emulators! I normally despise using emulators, but again, if I have no choice, I'm not gonna complain. Christ, 81 rings. That's pretty damn high. I've never gone 100% rings in a level, though. It's quite difficult. But anyway, already, folks, we're actually on the final battle, the final level of the game, Eggman's Tower. And obviously, to explain the plot of this, as you can, because it's a bit late to explain the plot, but hey, if you can't tell already, you, Sonic, or Ray will get captured by Eggman by running away or something, I don't know. You get captured by Eggman, you get sent to Eggman's Isle, which is this fantastic trap-built place. And it's literally a trap. That Eggman Island is literally just an island filled with... It's Death Wish Island, basically. You go here and everything's gonna kill you. As you can see by these buzzsaws by here, that's very ineffective. Seriously, those buzzsaws don't do anything to you. You have no danger of getting hit by them. Especially like this area by here as well. You have no danger of dropping off the edge of the falling grates, unless you're running too slow, which, to be honest, I don't see happening if you're emulating it, because, well, look how fast you go. Your acceleration is literally 0 to 100 in 10 milliseconds. It's insane. Which, like I said, makes it kind of difficult to control, but there you go. Of course, this is one of the most, well, obviously it's the most difficult stage apart from the previous one, because all the traps are really out to get you, but this stage is quite interesting, because when you reach this final section by here, you'll see there's a no continue icon on the screen. Which means, if you fail this level, you have to start the game over again. Which is quite, shall we say, not good. It's not good at all. I have no idea what that text says. Oh no! Dun 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 dun. If no one knows what I'm trying to hum, it's the Ridley theme. But yeah, Eggman's gonna push the self-destruct switch to destroy the island, which means we gotta leg it and collect a hell of a lot of rings. Dear God, I'm gonna have comments screaming at me for coins. But reach the end, go through the exit, and well, that's the game. No, I'm serious. That's the game. That's it. It's done. But we do get a fantastic, delicious explosion at the end, which makes me so... Oh, it makes me so happy. But yeah, this game was developed by AM3, Sega AM3, which is one of the main Sega arcade developers. Actually, the Sega AM division, do they make games recently? Because the last Sega AM game I played was I think it was by Sega AM2, but they made Afterburner Climax. That's the last arcade game I've really seen Sega do. Which is kind of a shame, because Sega arcade games are considered to be absolutely amazing through and through. And this game is no different. The music in this game is really underrated. The soundtrack is just delicious. I advise you to check it out if you get a chance. The graphics, I love the graphics. The sprite work is amazing. And overall, it's just a fun time to go through. The controls are a bit awkward, but it's very fast-paced. It's full of action. And I really want Sega one day to reimagine this game. You know, bring out a new version, or bring out a sequel or something, you know, just, hell, sell it for £2. I'd be happy with that. And there goes the good doctor. No way! I can't believe this! And there we go, folks, that has been Sega Sonic the Hedgehog on the arcade. So thank you all for watching, hope you all enjoyed, don't be sheepish people, and I'll catch you all next time when we, well, do something else, I guess. So thank you all for watching, hope you all enjoyed, don't be sheepish people, I'll see you next time. Bye!